Off day pod, Bones and Ben style. We're getting in our reps. You're listening to this probably on Friday, but Bones, how you enjoying the Blue Jays off day?
Currently it's 9:06 a.m. and I'm here with you. So how could I not be enjoying it?
Yeah, it's a perfect off day and a perfect day for us to do our Friday episode. We got Prospect Roundup coming up. He was a Blue Jay. Plus, we're going to do some over-unders for the first game of the Tigers-Blue Jays series starting today as you're listening. And you know what starts right now? Locked on Blue Jays.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Blue Jays. Thanks so much for making us your first listen every day. You can find our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube's growing a little bit. We're at that lucky 42 of subscribers, and we're climbing. So everyone on YouTube, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Leave comments with what you like.
We are so close to 1 million subscribers. We just got to get there. We just got to get there.
I mean, look, Smosh, all the big YouTube creators of our childhood, they had 42 subscribers at one point.
Sure. I like that you just picked out Smosh. That was great for you.
Smosh ruled the world at one point. All right, let's get in to our prospect roundup. Every Friday, we highlight minor league players that could have a big impact on the major league club either this year or coming up. Some people decided that they didn't think we were highlighting real prospects. Well, you know what? It's impact players, and you're not the farm director. So let's get into it. Essentially, we're each going to highlight 3 different guys and explain why we want to bring them to the forefront this week. At least one of them has to be off the top 30 prospects per MLB.com. Bones, would you like to go first?
Sure, man.
Okay.
I'll start with my top 30 guy who comes in at number 29 at the Blue Jays top 30 prospect list. That is infielder Tanner Morris. Bats left, throws right, one of those guys. He's 24 years old, but hey, he's in Double-A, so he could get called up at any point now. He's been hitting the cover off the ball recently. In May, he had a really good stint of a 10-game hit streak where he hit 385, a homer, 4 ribbies, 7 walks. He was getting on base, an OPS over 1,000. Then he broke it, and then recently started hitting the ball once again. In his last 7, he's been hitting 321, 9 hits in 7 games. The power isn't really there, but the guy sets the table pretty well. And that's kind of something the Jays need. Do I think he's going to come up this year and make a difference? Not necessarily. But if a bunch of injuries were to be sustained, you could see Tanner Morris maybe make the jump. He's a good player and a guy that the Jays obviously have some faith in being on the top 30 prospect list, which means could be some trade bait potentially.
We'll be talking about the deadline a lot coming up. Nice to see Tanner Morris back on the list. I don't know if you know this, but he was one of my week 1 prospect roundups.
That's pretty fun.
Pretty impressive if 2 months later he's still doing it at a level where we feel comfortable putting him up again for a prospect roundup. So, yeah, good pick. I'm going to go with another guy that I highlighted week 1 that I've been trying to lay off of because I know everyone kind of knows, but I got to highlight him again because he's still doing ridiculous things. It's Ricky Tiedman, who is the number 4 prospect for the Jays. I feel like he's moved up. I'm not 100% sure.
I think he's kind of sat there the whole time.
You think he sat there? Okay. Well, regardless, this Tiedman guy is just doing it right now. Side note, his legal name might start with the letter T. Not sure what it is, but that's what MLB's official research site lists him as T. Tiedman. But Ricky, regardless of name, has been pitching really well. And regardless of name on his jersey, we followed him a lot when he was with Dunedin, made 6 starts with a 1.8 ERA there. He's been even better at High A Vancouver. He's made 3 starts to an 0.61 ERA, literally allowed a single earned run, and that came in his first start with Vancouver. He's coming off back-to-back 0 earned run starts right now. against Spokane. Just went 5 innings, only allowed 3 hits, struck out 6. He's not only one of those guys that's high strikeout like a Dahian Santos, but
That's
it
our
looks
guy.
like he satisfies a lot of the pitching spectrum too, because he hasn't allowed more than 3 hits in any start this year, and he's gone at least 4 2/3 in every start this year. That's pretty hard to do. He's not walking guys either. He's kind of just the full package.
I did some name research for you on Ricky Tiedman. His given name, his full name is Tariq Lenny Tiedman, and that is spelled Tariq. Could also be Tarek, but it's
Well, that was long enough to
Tariq,
say.
and then middle name Lenny Leni Tiedman.
I would say I would like this guy about 10% more if his name was Lenny Tiedman.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, Lenny Tiedman's my first. Who do you got to say?
All right, I've got a pitcher as well. I'm going Alejandro Malin, who is in High A Vancouver. He's a pitcher, 21 years old, 6 foot, 175, kind of a stringy guy. He's a Venezuelan man, and he kind of throws. He throws pretty hard, and he's kind of had a struggling year. He had 3 starts from May 8th to May 22nd, where he gave up a combined 4 runs in 3 starts, which isn't terrible, but it's not necessarily going to get you called up. But his last 2 starts, he's been pretty fantastic. 5 innings each, no earned runs, and only 5 hits between them. And that first start of the 2, a 1-hitter. So he's been pitching pretty well. Another guy to keep your eye on who will probably continue to rise within the system in the next couple of years, and only being 21 years old means he's got a little bit to play with in terms of his minor league career. So he doesn't have to worry about not getting called up soon. 21 years old, you can take a couple more years in the minors to develop, and hopefully this time next year, people are talking about him like they're talking about Tariq Lenny Tiedman.
Don't get me going on Lenny Tiedman. No, that's a good pick. I'm going to stick with high A. I'm going to go to the position player side. For a guy that so far all season numbers are not fantastic, but we could be on the precipice of something big here. It's Davis Schneider. He's middle infielder, 23-year-old, out of New Jersey. Blue Jays picked him in the 28th round back in 2017. So obviously he's not on the top of a lot of prospect boards, but he's been doing steady work in the minors. In 2019, he got promoted. In 2021, he got promoted. So he's a guy who consistently finds a way to jump a level each year. And early on this year, it didn't look like he was going to be able to do that. You go to May 20th, which is not that long ago. It's like under 3 weeks ago. This man was hitting 129 with a barely over 600 OPS. But he's caught fire. Today, he's hitting over 200 with a 754 OPS, which is, again, not fantastic, but significantly better. And it's because he's kind of a big game guy. If you go back to June 4th, he went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a homer versus Spokane. That's a pretty good game. How could you top that within 1 week? Oh, we'll just go to Tri-Cities and go 4 for 5 with 3 doubles and a homer in that game. So he's kind of like one of these like NBA bench players that can just drop 25 points randomly every 6 games. I don't know if it works in baseball, but it seems to be working for Davis Schneider right now, that every once in a while he's just the best hitter on the planet. And I'd like to see him, if he can keep doing it, maybe earn his promotion up to AA, which would be right on track for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, that guy's good. I always like to see the guys who don't have good stats but raise their bad stats. So I like that pick from you. I'm going with a corner infielder here who I believe I've used before in Rainer Nunez. I probably used him
back-to-back weeks for Rainer Nunez.
Oh, is it really?
I think so. Good for him.
Well, his May was fantastic. Like we probably have spoken about before. He had 30 hits in 23 games, 6 homers, 21 RBI, and he hit .313 with an 886 OPS in that time. Rainer's a good player. And in June, he's continued it. He's cooled off a little bit, but he has continued being pretty solid. He hasn't been on fire like he was in May, but he's still hitting the ball, and he's still hitting with power. In only 6 games, he already has 1 tank, and he already has 2 multi-hit games. The last game he played was on the 7th, so he's still got time to grow. But Rainer Nunez is a guy that I'm going to keep my eye on. He's only 21 years old out of the DR, and being in low A, sure, he's got a lot of time and work to do, but he's definitely a guy who's going to grow into a role within the minor leagues and hopefully carve out a spot for himself in the majors. I could see him getting up to AA, AAA probably next year.
Yeah, things keep going well for him. I agree with you. I got another guy to wrap it up here from Dunedin. He's a middle infielder, short king, 5'6" out of Venezuela, Adrian Pinto. Claps for you, Adrian, for showing out for the guys. 19 years old, and he's having a solid year. In OPS at 780 right now. The thing I like about him and the potential I see, this man has a 387 on base percentage. That is ridiculous. It's a mix of having a solid batting average in the mid 200s, but then also just walking a lot. Specifically in June, he's already gotten on base 42% of the time. In the 6 games he's played in June, he has 6 hits. He can swing for power too. 3 of them are extra base hits, all coming in the last 3 games. He's walked 3 times. He's only struck out once. So, he's a young guy. And I think while later in, the system or when he's older, you're going to want him to hit for more power. He's got a sub 400 slugging percentage right now. The fact that he's only 19 can definitely excuse some of that lack of power as he continues to fill in with his body. And he's clearly a guy who you can trust to get on base a lot of the time. So I kind of like who was your contact pick before? Tanner Morris?
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of like a younger version at a lower level of Tanner Morris, where if the power can start to come along, well, then this guy's really going to be lighting up the minors. But that does it for Prospect Roundup. We are, hoping that these guys can find jobs with the Jays soon. And if you're a small business and you're trying to make your LinkedIn jobs profile grow, let's give you a little bit of information on that. Because look, as the sun comes out and small businesses are back in business, LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to grow your team. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the people you want to interview faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Bones, what's the weirdest job you've ever seen posted on a website?
Once the New York Rangers hockey team posted emergency goalie on LinkedIn.
That's fantastic. I was on a job website one time looking for some sports related jobs, as we do. And the entire cooking staff of the Boston Red Sox jobs were on that site.
Wow.
Sous chef, everything. So I don't know what that means for the 2021 food services team for the Red Sox, and that's tough, but they're switching it up, and I would say maybe it hasn't worked so far this year. But if you are a business trying to look for some new people, LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Bones, more trivia. What's a word that sounds or is spelled kind of like scurvy, but comes with a lot more questions?
Spelled kind of like scurvy, but comes with more questions. Blurvy.
Survey.
Oh, that was close.
We have an important favor to ask you. We've put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcast even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcast. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. Take our audience survey. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. All right. Bring the shade down. It's time for He Was a Blue Jay. You're pumped. It looks like you're raising the roof for our audio listeners.
I'm here to win, man.
You won last time. You got Davey Martinez, and that moved your record up to 19-5. So you're looking for win number 20 today, and that win would get you back to an 800 win percentage. For those who haven't seen He Was a Blue Jay, it's a guy that you might not necessarily remember as a Blue Jay, but he was one, and I'm going to give some hints about the guy's career in general. And then we are going to see if Bones can guess them. In between each hint, he gets 3 guesses or 30 seconds to think about it. At the end, we'll give him a little extra time. And if he taps out, like he has 5 out of the 24 times, then he gets the loss. If he gets it right, he gets the win. Bones, this is season 2 is not done, but I'm calling it season 3 now with the new ones I'm getting. So this is a season 3 name. Are you ready to go?
Wow, season 2's over? How'd I do in season 2?
Well, season 2 is not totally over because there are two season 2 guys left, but I wasn't feeling them today.
Okay.
But I can tell you, let me count right now. So
I struggled in season 2.
Yeah, you are actually pretty close to 500 in season 2. 0-1 with Kevin Cash, 1-1 with Worth, 2-1 with Saltalamacchia, 3-1 with Plesac, 3-2.
Then I lost like 3 straight.
Yeah, so you are 4-4 in season 2.
So yeah, I went 500 in season 2.
Which makes me feel better as like a quizmaster a little bit, because if you were 4-4 in season 2, that means you were 15-1 in season 1. So
because I'm a dog.
A little too easy in season 1.
Nah.
Season 3, I think I'm gonna call like the happy medium season. We're gonna see what happens. So
Okay.
that's kind of the goal. We're always adjusting. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hint number 1. This utility man played with the Jays in 2018.
Okay. Reed Briniak.
No, I don't think Reed Briniak played in 2018.
I just wanted to say Reed Briniak. Sean Rodriguez.
No, I think Sean Rodriguez was like part of a trade to the Blue Jays, but I don't remember him actually playing for them ever.
A utility man. Who is that other guy who was like totally a utility man that was from the Rays? All right, I don't know. Go ahead.
We already had an Eric Sogard, if that's what you're wondering.
Wasn't him.
All right, hint number. This guy, just to give you a little more clarity on him, he's primarily played third base, although he has spent a decent part of his career at shortstop too.
All right, well, it's a utility man, so it's kind of what I'm.
Well, I just wanted to give you I'll be honest with you, he's got infield, outfield listed. So I wanted to at least give you he's mostly the majority of his career has been played at third.
Willie Bloomquist.
No.
John McDonald wouldn't be a niche Blue Jay.
No, he's a fantastic Blue Jay.
Yeah. I remember his first ever walk-off when he was like 800 years old. We got to get John McDonald on this podcast.
I'll try.
I bet you we could do that. All right. I got nothing.
Okay, we move on. Hit number 3, he's an active player with an NL East club right now. I haven't had a lot of active guys recently, so I thought that's kind of the happy medium.
Is he a Met? No, because what is it? J.D. Davis, Eduardo Escobar. It's not those guys. Is it either of those guys? J.D. Davis.
Guys? No.
Eduardo Escobar.
No. I believe J.D. Davis hasn't J.D. Davis been a Met for almost his entire career.
Yeah, no, totally he has, but I couldn't take it.
Eduardo has bounced around, but he is not.
I don't know who's on the NL East. I don't Austin Riley, it's not him. Who's the Phillies third baseman?
Well, the Phillies third baseman, I'll just tell you, is Alec Bohm, so it's not.
Oh yeah, it ain't Alec Bohm. And then the Marlins third baseman's Brian Anderson. And then the Nationals third baseman, I don't know. The Nationals are a team of despair. It's Carter Keyboom or something.
Dope.
All right, I'm moving on.
Okay. For context of his age, because you were guessing people like Reed Briniak, he spent chunks of his minor league career with the Jays core players like Vlad, Bo, and Cavan before he made his major league debut in 2018. So his Blue Jays debut was also his major league debut.
Oh gosh, this is gonna hurt.
Little young stud, kind of.
He's a young man. So he's a young guy. Came up with the Jays recently, which means there's little to no reason that I shouldn't get him. I have no names in my head. And now he's
I'll let you know. The fifth The fifth hint will help you a good amount.
That's good. That's what I'm hoping for in the fifth hint.
I've made these more of a slow build so we don't get Necroed again.
Dang it, I have no idea.
While you're thinking, just to remind the listener and viewer, the four hints: utility man, played with the Jays in 2018, has primarily played third base in his career, although a decent time spent at short too. Active with an NL East club, and he was in the minors for a solid part of his season at least, with Bo and Kevin and Vlad before he debuted in 18.
We got to move on.
All right. He's got one of the highest OPSs on the Marlins this year, and he's like semi-consistently their leadoff hitter. Brian Anderson's hurt, by the way. So if you've watched any Marlins baseball recently,
is that hint 4 or 5?
What?
Is that hint 4 or 5?
That's hint
4. Brutal.
But I'm giving you some time here.
Who's there? Like Miguel Rojas is their shortstop. Jazz Chisholm's their second baseman. Who's their third baseman? Dang, Kyle would have had this. If I ever had a phone,
I think Kyle will have this. Yeah, I mean, you know this guy like for sure, but
of course I do. I just can't think of him.
He is like you're gonna be like, oh, that guy. I never think about that guy on a daily basis.
Yeah.
He's got a name almost as plain as Brian Anderson.
John Smith.
No. Well, you're getting there.
Come on.
Let me see if I can throw any extra stuff in there. So he's been a Marlin for the last 4 years, by the way, 2019 and 2022.
Who is a Marlin? Like the Marlins are bad.
He's Italian. That's good for you.
He's Italian?
I believe so. I don't know that for a fact.
No, I'm just thinking of Paisans.
What do you think?
I can't get Derek Dietrich out of my head for some reason.
I
guess what? I know it's not him.
Minor league for the Yankees, isn't he?
No, I think he's retired.
I thought I saw him in the minors this year.
Maybe he's back. He probably in the minors. I don't know. Who is it?
John Birdie.
John.
See, it's like I know it's not a guy you think about all the time, but you know John Birdie.
Yeah, I do know John Birdie. That stinks. Boo, so John Birdie. Boo. Would have been way cooler if it was Reed Briniak.
It would be cooler. Say the tagline, please.
He was a Blue Jay?
Yeah, 4 games with the Blue Jays in 2018, but was like a Blue Jay minor leaguer throughout. Was on the 2018 New Hampshire Fisher Cats with Vlad, Bo, and Cabin when they kind of just tore up AA baseball for a while. Solid player, has made a handful of starts for the Marlins this year. So, yeah, kind of a tough one, I know, but with the active player thing. Thought you might be betting on Birdie, and if you are, you should go to BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting stats and info. Find all the latest sports developments, news, odds, including this year's basketball championship matchup, the NHL finals, conference finals, Major League Baseball, and of course, the latest fighting news from MMA and UFC and boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right. Game starts today around 7? 7? And we're recording the day before. Yeah, 7:10. You're going to be there, which is cool.
I better say 2 reminders. 1, I will be there at all 3 games, so I'll try to be sending you some pictures and videos on Twitter. So keep locked on at Locked On Jays. And then the second reminder, if you didn't listen to yesterday's pod, I got this Austin Matthews jersey behind me. I want suggestions, so hurl them at me on Twitter on what other Blue Jays jerseys I should get. I'm trying to look for niche guys. I don't necessarily need a Vlad Guerrero Jr. jersey behind me. So give me some guys, and I'm going to try and get a jersey.
Midweek next week, I'll do my jersey pitch segment, maybe full episode if I get a little crazy. But we shall see. Okay. Final segment of the show. By the way, Bones forgot to mention you're 19-6 now, and he was Blue Jay. Sorry.
That hurts.
But we're doing some over-unders. Pardon?
Glad that wasn't season 2, because then I'd be under 500.
Yeah. Well, you're under 500 in season 3, but small sample size.
That's all right.
I got 5 over-unders for you. You can feel good. You've done much better on these over-unders than I have, which is one of the many reasons I don't bet. But all right, let's get into them. These are based on the first game coming up for the Blue Jays. We didn't get this from like any book or anything. I made them up myself. So we'll see. All right. Going back to 2 days ago from when you're listening to this episode, but yesterday or last night from when Bones and I are recording on this Thursday morning, the Tigers just beat the Pirates. They won 3-1, and all 3 runs were driven in by 2 by Daz Cameron, by Sunday Scary, and 1 by Miguel Cabrera, the literal only 2 players hitting on this team. So in this first game, over under 1.5 runs driven in by anyone not named Daz Cameron and Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers.
That means 2.
Essentially, if anyone hits a homer, you're in trouble.
I'm going to say yes.
Over? Okay.
Because I'm going to predict – I was going to say Jeimer Candelario, but he's hurt.
Hobby could. Scope's got pop.
Yeah, Scope's got pop, and he's got a hole in his bat.
Scope's got pop, but he just doesn't – he doesn't hit a lot.
I'm going to say over. Who's pitching for the Jays game 1? Gausman?
Barrios.
Oh, yeah. I'll say over.
I'm going to go under, but we got more stuff coming up. Pardon?
That's a safe bet for you.
Yeah. Because I'm not 100% sure they're going to score 2 runs, but we'll get into that in a second. Jose Barrios on the mound, as I just mentioned. He's been really up sometimes this year and really opposite of up sometimes this year. 5 innings pitched, over under.
It's got to be over in Detroit. Like, I'm going to be upset if it's not over. Maybe he gets his 2 runs out of the way in the second inning, but then he goes like 7 strong.
Yeah, I got over too. I really think he turned a corner last start. I think there's a chance that we're setting up for like a really good June for Barrios, but especially versus the Tigers. I have him going over 5, but interesting what you said with your runs. The next one for Barrios, over under 2.5 runs allowed.
Under. It'll be 2.
I'm saying under, and like I think it's 1 or 0, to be honest. I think he's going to have one of his best starts of the year. Because again, the Tigers cannot hit. Like
until Javi jacks one over the center field fence at 400.
Swings at a pitch that bounces 40 feet on the way to the plate. We'll see, though. I like Javi Baez, for the record. All right. Well, the Tigers can't hit, but the Blue Jays can, especially Alejandro Kirk. Assuming he plays. If he doesn't play, then I don't know what we'll do with this. Assuming he plays, over under 1.5 hits.
I'll go. We did this as George once, and we got.
This with George, we doubted him, and he got 2.
All right, I'm not going to doubt the meat man. I'll say over. Doubt him. Go ahead, doubt him. Go ahead, doubt him.
No, the guy on the. I mean, I'm going to get to it. The guy on the mound for the Tigers is not it. So I'm gonna go over too. I wanted to go under against like Scooble. I might have gone under, but it's Elvin Rodriguez on the mound, and he brings his 10 ERA in 16 innings. So like he's inexperienced, and his experience ain't so hot. Do you think the Blue Jays, off the starting pitcher specifically, score over under 3.5 runs?
This is the guy that I don't know if you guys have seen, but John Boy on Twitter called him out and figured out he was tipping pitches. So if he hasn't,
he fixed that.
Yeah. What was the over under? What was the line?
3.5 off him. And I know that sounds low, but the point is,
no, like, I'm going to say that happens. I'm going to say they get like over? 5 off of him.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I kind of wish I set this line at 4.5 in retrospect. Because if you score like 4 runs off a guy in 1 or 2 innings, he's yanked. So it's kind of like, this is kind of a sneaky one. I'll say over as well. So just to run back through it, Bones has over 1.5 runs from people not named Cabrera and Cameron. I have under. We both have over 5 innings pitched for Barrios. We both have, wow, we agreed a lot. We both have under 2.5 runs for Barrios. We both have over 1.5 hits for Kirk. We both have over 3.5 runs off Elvin Rodriguez. We will let you know how that goes when we are back. Obviously, no weekend apps, so we'll see you on Monday at the conclusion of the Tiger series. But we want to thank you once again for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen today. Now you can make your second listen Locked On MLB podcast. MLB expert Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, and a unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the #1 daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Bones, you did this to me yesterday. What's your final word?
Sorry, I was muted, so you didn't hear the clacking of my Newton
Angela.
balls. Newton balls is my last word.
Okay, Newton balls it is. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks so much for listening.